just got back from a 2-week vacation in Tokyo with my brother and his friend. I made sure to film as much as I could, and I am so stoked to share with all of you what I got up to over there. So sit back and get comfy while I talk about my trip to Tokyo. I'm not going to bore you with all the travel details. Everyone is aware that 10 plus hours of air travel is hell. So let's jump into the meat and potatoes. It's no surprise that I'm a bit of a geek, and Tokyo is a place to visit if you enjoy video games and anime as much as I do. But first we need to talk about the food. We found this ramen place that was pretty close to our hotel we were staying at in Otsuka. It's called Ni Ramen, and it's only a few blocks from the Appa Hotel that we were staying at. I should have filmed in horizontal, but just look at this bowl. This was their breakfast special. It was 1,300 yen, which at the time of writing this script is $8.31. I will always advocate for people to try and find smaller restaurants, like Ni, but I would be lying if I said that I didn't also like a good deal with a fun gimmick. And that is what I saw in Hama Sushi. Hama Sushi is a conveyor belt sushi shop that lets you choose what you want, and then it's delivered to you on a conveyor belt like this. Most orders are around 120 to 180 yen for 2 pieces per plate. They do have some fancier options as well. Regardless, it's fairly cheap and very delicious. This is my favorite roll that they had. It was fatty tuna with avocado and onion. They also have a nice variety of soy sauces available, but my favorite has to be the Kyushu style. It's a little thicker than the others and has a sweetness that just won over my heart. This was one of my heavier visits, and I left feeling completely stuffed. Certainly worth the price tag. We went to the Monster Hunter Cafe in Akihabara as a group, and it was super yummy. This pizza was made to look like a yankutku, and was cheese pizza with egg salad. A combination that I wouldn't have ever thought to try in a million years, but I was shocked at how delicious it was. I will always try anything once, and I'm very happy I did, because this was kind of eye-opening to me, I'm not gonna lie. I also got the well-done steak, which was a kind of hamburger sausage meat mixture that was molded around this rib bone and wrapped in bacon. This thing was a delight, and came with this very raw mustard that was pretty good. But honestly, the meat was pretty perfect just by itself. I also got these drinks. This blue one with the cute marshmallow palico and palamute was aesthetically pleasing, but honestly it didn't really taste like much. The best I can describe it is just, it tastes blue. And the one with the ice cream in it was actually a coffee-based drink, and I'm not really a coffee girly, so I didn't much care for it. But I'm sure if you love coffee, it would be right up your alley. They had a ton of cool decorations, and I was originally going to make this a short, but I never got around to it, so I'm just going to show it here. Maybe one day I'll figure out how to be a proper social media person. I ended up going to the Eorzean Cafe by myself a few days later, and it was a really fun experience as somebody who enjoys Final Fantasy XIV. They let you choose one class when you are seated, and you get a coaster with your job on it. I've been playing Paladin lately, so here's the Paladin one I got. I got the Spriggan Takoyaki, which, while it looked good, I do have to be honest and say that I didn't really much care for it. The takoyaki is supposed to have a crispy outer breading, and these were very soft and flat. 2 of them had tomato sauce, which, to me, the flavor profile was just kind of off-putting. 2 of them had a sort of pesto cream sauce, which was okay. And the 2 with the shiny black stuff representing the Spriggans was melted cheese, which again was okay, but not really what I was expecting. The Fat Cat meat bao bun was super yummy though. And I forgot to take a photo, but I also got the fish and chips, which was basically a basket of fries with a few fish nuggets. It was pretty decent. The blue drink was based on the Paladin, which again is kind of just tastes like blue. And the melon soda float was a drink representing the Scholar, and it was super delicious. The tea here is based on Alice. It was a jasmine strawberry tea, which was quite good with the fruit chunks. The decorations were lovely, and they even did a Cactpot lottery to win some merch, but sadly I didn't win. But the overall experience was delightful, and looking at all the fun decorations was totally worth it. Now, when I said earlier that food in Japan is affordable, I do have to put a disclaimer here, and these themed cafes do kind of price gouge a little bit, so expect to spend a lot more at these venues. However, I still think they're totally worth the visit if you get the chance. It wouldn't be a proper trip to Tokyo without visiting some of the major landmarks. The first one I went to was the Tokyo Skytree. This is the tallest self-sustaining tower in the world, standing at 634 meters. It's kind of similar to the Space Needle in Washington or the Sky Tower in Auckland, New Zealand. The views up here are amazing. You can really see how dense the city is. I really enjoyed this placard that showed what the area would have looked like during the Edo period. The smog did make it a bit hard to see Mount Fuji, but look, it's right there. I loved seeing all the bridges and just how complicated the city looked from such great heights. Look away if you don't like heights, because they had a glass floor that was really fun to stand on and look down. They were doing a crossover event with My Hero Academia when I visited, and this area that led up to the 450 meter high viewing area had tons of stuff, including character sheets and fun little things pertaining to the show. It was a pleasant surprise for sure. Below the Skytree is a shopping center that is home to the Pokemon Center store. This place was so cool seeing all of the Pokemon merch and the statues. It was pretty packed, so I didn't want to film too much, but it was certainly a fun place to shop as a Pokemon fan. I picked up these stickers and some gifts for some friends, and they even had one of those coin presses, and I got this pressing of Rayquaza. I also got these two from Tokyo Disneyland, so if you collect these kind of pressed coins, you're going to have a heyday in Tokyo, because I saw quite a few of them. Tokyo Disney was a blast. Since it was January and actually quite cold out, the crowds were pretty low. I've been to Disneyland in Anaheim a few times, and I've never seen the park this sparse. We started off with breakfast in Tomorrowland, where I got this magical meal. The meal I got was curry with shrimp tempura and fries. I say it's magical because I have no idea how they made the yolks in this egg into a Mickey. It must be witchcraft. If anyone knows the secret, let us know down below. The first ride we went on was Monsters Inc., which was actually the longest wait we had all day, at 20 minutes, which is insane for a Disney park. The ride was interactive with flashlights and had a lot of funny visual gags. We then meandered over to Fantasy Springs, where we considered the Beauty and the Beast ride, but the wait was an hour and a half and we just chose to skip that one. But the whole area had this really cute Beauty and the Beast village vibe. I got this churro not realizing it was apple flavored, but it was still pretty good. We then ended up in Toontown, where we rode the Roger Rabbit cab ride. This is one of my absolute favorite rides in Anaheim, and I was so excited to see that they had one here. The effort that they put into these rides just blow my mind. I highly recommend this one at both locations. One of my favorite things about Toontown is all the visual gags that they pepper in all over the place. Make sure to keep an eye out for them when you visit. We even caught a little bit of the parade when we got out of the Roger Rabbit ride. By the time we were done, I was getting a bit peckish, and around the corner was the Alice in Wonderland Cafe. This is my favorite Disney movie, so I insisted that we eat there. The decorations were fantastic, and I truly felt like I had stepped into Wonderland. I got the chicken meal and, of course, had to celebrate my unbirthday. I was shocked when we passed the Haunted Mansion, and it was not only still decked out with the Nightmare Before Christmas stuff, but the wait time was only 15 minutes, so we jumped at the chance. The Haunted Mansion is another one of my favorite rides, and I've never gotten to see it in Christmas mode, so this was super special to me. We didn't stay until closing because it was just so cold, and the wind had really picked up that night, but it was a great time nonetheless. I spent a lot of time in the arcades in Japan, and they really hit different. Most arcades in Akihabara are multi-storied buildings that have claw machines on the first few floors, and then arcade cabinets above that. I didn't really film much of the claw machines because my brother won a Mew plush in one of the arcades on our first day, and when I tried to take a picture of him holding it, one of the employees motioned for us to not take photos, so I just assumed this was kind of a general rule. My personal favorite are the smaller claw machines. I just feel like they're much easier to get stuff out of. Here's a photo of all the stuff I got from the little ones. They also have the big ones that usually have figurines in them and are more of a trial and error skill check, requiring you to maneuver the box to fall between the rails in the cabinet. One thing I thought was really cool about these claw machines was that if an employee noticed that you had been working on a prize for a while, they would come over and place the prize in a position that would essentially guarantee the drop if you just bumped the box correctly. This was a nice gesture, and was how I got this figure. It really makes it feel less of a scam. There are a lot of claw machines that have snack foods in them, and that always made me laugh because what a dystopian thought, having to play a game of chance or skill to try to win food. The busiest sections of the arcade were the rhythm games, and I kinda got swept up in the hype myself. I fell in love with this game called Chenethumverse? Probably butchered that, but first and foremost, just look at how cute the little penguin mascot is. Her name is Chunny Penguin, and she is absolutely adorable. For 100 yen, you can play 3 songs, which is a great deal when you consider that sometimes it's 200 or 300 per try at the claw machines. Look at how happy she is when you keep playing after your 3 songs are up. And if you decide to quit, she gets bonked, but is still happy. I get giddy every time I hear her tell me. I asked this guy next to me if I could record him playing to show how skilled some of the players are over here. And here's a comparison of him and me. My friend Tia recommended that I go to Gotokuji Temple, or as us foreigners call it, the Lucky Cat Temple. This temple has a section that's packed full of these ceramic Lucky Cat figurines. You could tell some had been there for a long time. You could purchase them from a kiosk, but they did have a limit to 1 per person because they didn't want to run out of inventory. You could also purchase Ama to write a prayer or a wish. If you happen to visit anytime soon, look out for mine. I got this size 3 cat statue, and I put it in my computer in hopes to get good RNG in the games I play. But the best part of this entire experience was that there was a cat at the cat temple. The poor thing was looking a little rough, but was very friendly with everybody, and it let me pet it. The town surrounding the temple had a lot of Lucky Cat stuff in the shops that I passed by, and I even got this little cat cake that was filled with chocolate. Poor kitty. I was eating breakfast at Ni Ramen again, and was telling the chef that I was going to go to the Tokyo Tower that day, and he said I should wait until nighttime. Once it was nightfall, I headed to the train station and made my way to the Tokyo Tower. It was so pretty, all lit up colorfully. I got there pretty late, so it wasn't crowded at all. The guy at the ramen shop was correct. This was much more fun at night. Seeing the city all lit up at night is so magical. I could even see the sky tree, just barely. Something about watching the city operate at night is just so serene to me. They even had this section with projectors making it look like it was snowing. And after a while, it did this. There was a section that was higher up than the platform this video shows, but it was limited and had sold out for the time slot that I was there. I was more than satisfied with the view that I got though. And of course, there was another glass floor. I will admit that I spent a majority of my time shopping and playing in the arcades in Akihabara, also known as Akiba. I was on a mission the whole time to find a Japanese copy of Spyro the Dragon, but my luck must have run out because I couldn't find one. However, I did manage to find a Spyro 2, so that was a nice consolation. I also couldn't find any merch from my favorite anime FLCL, but I did manage to find the first volume of the manga. I guess it's just as niche in Japan as it is over here. But I had so much fun playing games and getting gachapons. I love turtles, so when I saw this Mountain Turtles gacha, I of course had to get them all. And the duplicates made great gifts for friends. I also decided to go to a couple of maid cafes, which were a lot of fun, albeit quite expensive for what you get. But can you put a price tag on memories? Since they're pretty strict about recording, all I managed to get were some photos of the food. It was a little awkward, but I do recommend trying one out when you visit. But just know, if you want a photo with the maids, you'll have to pay for a Polaroid. But they will doodle on them, so that's a nice touch. All in all, I had a fantastic time in Tokyo, and can't wait to visit again later down the road. I would like to branch out though, and get outside of Tokyo next time. We were supposed to go to the Nintendo Museum in Kyoto. We had won tickets in the online raffle, but there was an issue with the train that day and we were going to miss our time slot. So that ship sailed. Most things do require a reservation, so I strongly recommend purchasing your tickets in advance. We missed out on the Ghibli Museum too because it was just sold out. That being said, I still had tons of fun, and you will too if you ever get the chance to visit. Just make sure you get out there and see stuff and immerse yourself in the culture and history. Thanks so much for checking out my trip, and let me know if you have any plans to visit Japan. What do you want to see and do? Stay safe, and make sure to check in on your friends and loved ones. Thank you all again, and I'll see you next time. Take care.